Oh shoot, I've got enough course. Attached is my latest TPS report.
Holy crap, we're not putting that in.
Maybe you can sneak it in.
Hey friends, Nick and Angel here. Welcome back to another episode of Road Trip with Nick on our YouTube channel. Before we get started and jump into all the juicy goody details for today's episode, hit that subscribe button below. Do us a major favor. Ding the bell if you want to be notified when a new video is uploaded. Today we're talking about all things digital nomadism, or at least our top 6 tips to successfully working remotely as a digital nomad.
The first one is establishing a base routine. So figure out when you are most productive. Maybe it's 10 to 2. This is always kind of a balancing act because as a digital nomad, you think that one of the perks is being spontaneous and making your own schedule, but without setting aside time to get work done, it just won't get done.
Be prepared to adjust your schedule a little bit. Case in point was that the birds started chirping at about 5:15 in the morning in Costa Rica, and we had the choice of either being annoyed and trying to sleep through their melodies of happiness, or just get up earlier. So we chose the latter and embraced it, and it worked out beautifully.
The next and potentially most important item is to establish a good system for backups and stick to it. We've talked about this already, but we have a system where we'll run local backups weekly and then have a service that runs continuous offsite cloud backups. We'll link to that again in the description. Cannot overstate the importance of a good backup system when you are a digital nomad, particularly if you're doing photography, working for clients, really anything. For those of you who have lost data or even had a scare of losing it, you'll understand the importance of a good backup system. If you want to learn more about our backup system, let us know in the comments below. We'll do an entire video about the specifics of what we use and why, and go into all the details.
This is what we call all things fabulously dorky. The next tip is leveraging the publicly available workspaces. So as a digital nomad, you kind of make your office wherever you are at the moment. So obviously the first one that comes to mind is a coffee shop. This is very common. It gets a little tricky. It is nice because it's less isolating. There's a lot of activity if you like that buzz and being around people and hearing the murmurs kind of, you know, in the back of your head as you're working. That's a great space for you. For us, we tend to look for something a little quieter, not to mention we're kind of at the mercy of how many outlets the coffee shop has, because if you're working for a good chunk of time there, chances are you're going to need to charge at some point. Libraries are actually our favorite locations to do work at while we're traveling and being digital nomads. They are quiet, comfortable, the Wi-Fi is usually great. Generally, each workspace and table has an outlet, so you never have to worry about that. And one of the best things we find is study rooms, so we can take calls with clients and actually have a private space to work out of and have a real phone call that doesn't involve the espresso machine in the background or a car that's driving by. The biggest thing is that you just need to plan accordingly if you are going to book a study room. So there's a little bit more, less sporadic, spur of the moment-ness that comes with those. The third location that we work from when we are on the road is actually from our vehicle. We turn on our iPhones to make them into hotspots and use our data as needed to push up code or send an email and communicate with clients. If you don't feel like sucking through all your data when you're driving in the car, there are actually Wi-Fi rest stops, believe it or not. Just pull over, use the restroom, have a snack, do a little work, and keep going on your road trip.
Nebraska has the best Wi-Fi rest stops in the country. Just
Really?
kidding, I have no idea.
Oh, I was like, oh, I thought North Dakota's was decent.
Yeah. Next is to always be proactive with client communication. I've heard one of the biggest complaints about freelancers is that they'll just drop off the map sometimes. And if you're a digital nomad, that's particularly easy to do. It's much better to give your clients an update on a project than to have them reach out to you asking for an update, at which point they might start thinking, where is he again?
Is he even working?
What are we paying him for? So bottom line, establish trust through good communication and work to maintain it.
The next tip is leveraging cloud services, which again sounds kind of like a no-brainer, but we can't overstate the importance and the ease and the flexibility that comes with using things like Google Docs and Apple Notes, assuming you have an Apple computer and an iPhone like we do. So we're Apple
Nerds.
fanatics. Nerds.
A few others are things for task management, Harvest for time tracking and invoicing and managing expenses, and Backblaze, which is the offsite backup service we use, linked below in the description.
The last tip we have is probably the most important one. We saved the best for last here. We do what we can, but we call it ABC, and maybe you've heard this before, and it's not about the alphabet actually at all.
Or already been chewed gum.
ABC stands for always be charging. Trust us, things will die when you don't want them to. Most important, just be proactive, not reactive. If you thought this video was helpful or just enjoyed our general humor, go ahead and give us a thumbs up below. And if you have any questions, hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We always want to know what you are interested in and what you want to see more of.
As always, thanks for watching.